Hey everyone, it's Pearlescent Toys, back in today's video with another Marvel Legends action figure review, and today we're looking at Titania from the Secret Wars wave. When Dr. Doom harnesses the Beyonder's power to create superhumans, Mary McFarlane becomes Titania, whose immense strength and durability makes her integral to the supervillain team. Alright, but without further ado, let's get into the review. And here we have Titania out of the packaging, and her inclusion in Secret Wars is kind of a head scratcher to me. I just recently read the entire series, and she just randomly shows up a quarter of the way through. Sure. My personal thoughts aside though, there is a glaringly huge difference between this figure and how she appears in that comic book. Yeah, the designers in the 80s were on something. It is definitely a costume of the time, and because of that, Hasbro elected to color in this centerpiece purple, but I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. Let's look at the sculpt in the paint app starting from the bottom. Love the fold around the toes. And moving up the leg, you get the spikes going out the side, painted in a really nice metallic silver color. And they aren't so pointy as to impale someone's eyes if it accidentally falls off a shelf. The knees are a different color from the rest of the purple, but it isn't really that noticeable in person. And then you have the top of her boots, just like the knees, just covered in wrinkles. And I think it is lovely that it goes all the way around. It adds a lot of depth. And now we get up to her thighs. Oh, mommy. Oh, mommy. Mommy.
Stop it. Get some help.
What? She has thunder thighs right here. Literally, this is textbook definition. You look it up in the dictionary. I think it's a picture of this. Yeah, I just love the detail of the muscles. And, oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's, It's just so eye-catching. It's hard not to focus on it. I'm, of course, talking about the skin painted onto the side of this hip. It doesn't match up with the rest of the molded skin tone plastic, I think because it's painted onto a much darker plastic. And so that purple is kind of making it darker. Just a really huge bummer. And moving up, you get this gold waistband that goes all the way around, and the paint for it looks lovely. Look how reflective it is. Wow, just an amazing choice of paint they used for that. And then, of course, the infamous, the chest. Yeah, so her chest was bare in the comic, but here it isn't. But I think I've read online, and from what I could see right here, this purple is painted on top. So if you really wanted to remove it with some nail polish remover, some acetone, yeah, I think that would work. Not sure about this bottom piece though. I mean, I'd assume that it is molded in the same purple plastic, so if you remove this paint, you just get more of this. Maybe this piece does require a little bit of elbow grease to fix. But yeah, you can have your comic accurate Secret Wars Titania if you really, really want to. But the sculpt of those, oh my god, dude. The sculpt of those breasts are nice. Moving on. No muscle on the back. Not a lot of muscle on the back, unfortunately. But you do get more muscle on the arms. Look at those. More spikes going down the side of it. And finally, that head sculpt. Also, not entirely accurate to the source material. Her mask does go down a little bit and wraps around her upper neck in the comic. Yeah, that's just something interesting to note. I love how vibrant her hair is. The orange, ooh, it's just striking. It really complements the rest of the outfit really well. I don't know how to feel about the mask. It is a much darker purple compared to the rest of the costume. Kind of wish they had matched the colors and maybe made it a little less shiny too. Because this looks like leather while the rest of the costume looks kind of like cloth. But the face expression I do love a lot. The digital face printing really allows this figure to show its beauty and rage. You can see the teeth gritted up right there. There's lipstick all around the lips right there. Yeah, it's just the perfect cross between beauty and beast. Yeah, just a pretty good sculpt overall. Let's move on to accessories. For accessories, Titania comes with 2 fisted hands and 2... well, I was going to say open sea grip hands, but they're a little too wide for that, aren't they? And like the other figures in this wave, she also comes with that little shield with her face on it, a little holographic image, and that clips onto her wrist. You can switch out that holographic image for a little card with the Marvel Secret Wars logo. Again, just like the rest of these figures, this does nothing for me. I would have liked maybe a bonus head instead of this. Now, going over articulation, the head doesn't move up at all. It's able to look down a tiny bit. She does have a good amount of pivot though, and a little bit of side to side movement. Again, that hair, it just inhibits a lot of movement right there. Her arm is able to move up this much, and she has shoulder rotation, an upper bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow that's able to bend in this much, and your standard wrist hinge allowing her hand to move up, down, and turn all the way around. She has a mid diaphragm joint allowing her to bend this far back, and a tiny bit forward. She has pivot right there as well as some side to side movement. Her leg is able to kick up this much, go out to the side that much, and go back a tiny bit. And she has like a lower thigh swivel. It's hidden underneath that boot. Really smart. She has double jointed knees, allowing her leg to go back this much. And her foot is able to move this far down, this far up. And she has now going over size comparisons. Here is Titania next to Captain America and Iron Man, Black Suit Spider-Man and Wolverine, the Beyonder and Doctor Doom, King the Conqueror and Ultron, Enchantress and Absorbing Man, Dr. Octopus and Molecule Man, Hulk and Thor, Captain Marvel and She-Hulk, Nightcrawler and Colossus, Professor X and Magneto, The Thing and the Human Torch, and finally Mr. Fantastic and Spider-Man, Deadpool and Hydra Bob, Deadpool and Hydra Bob, Darwin and Morbius, and finally Jeff the Landshark and Spider-Ham. Alright, on to my final rating, my overall thoughts. I'm going to give this figure a final rating of 7 out of 10. Let's start off with the bad. The paint apps are kind of hit or miss. You know what I'm talking about, those hips. The paint is just completely off from the rest of the skin tone. Of course, the middle section being painted in, I know that is probably bothersome to a lot of collectors. To me, not so much. Would it have been awesome to get a completely 100% accurate Titania from the comics? Yes. The mask also being a little bit more shiny and leathery than the rest of the costume. And the spikes, this is something I didn't touch on, but some of the silver from the spikes kind of leaks past the spike itself. And the articulation can be just god-awful in some places, especially the head. And of course, the mid-diaphragm joint doesn't allow a whole lot of bending. With that all out of the way, I think the other half of the paint apps is fine. I love the metallic colors they used, and the face looks beautiful and beastly. Oh my god, that's still so stupid. Can you cut that in the edit, JP, please? This figure is really carried by that sculpt. I think it is so striking, so eye-catching. I think at the end of the day, this figure does a lot right while also doing a lot wrong. But I do think the pros outweigh the cons for this girl. So yeah, 7 out of 10. But yeah, that'll do for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below what you thought about the figure, and while you're at it, please like and subscribe and share with a friend. Anything you can do to support the channel will be greatly appreciated. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye. I believe this is like the third Muscle Mommy we've gotten this year. I would have rather, but at the end of the day, excuse me.